Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my reaction videos. Now, before I get started with this, I do want to clarify something regarding how this channel may have to move forward just based on how Death Battle is moving forward. For those of you guys that don't know, Death Battle actually did not do an early access release for Frieza vs. Megatron. They're trying to improve their views and impressions on YouTube because they think that, you know, doing an early access may actually be hurting that. And I don't have an inherent issue with that. Like, I don't need to see Death Battle before anyone else because I do have a channel membership for those guys that don't know. The only concern that I have is that I do really hope that if they continue to just do a single release for everyone, they do it on Sundays rather than Mondays, like they do it on the day that they did the early access release, because otherwise it's going to completely overlap with my work schedule. I actually had today off of work, thankfully, because it's Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of my 10 Canadian viewers. But going forward, yeah, it could completely derail how quickly I could get these reactions out, and then subsequently how quickly I could get the predictions out. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I really hope that, you know, they do move it to Sunday if they continue just doing a single release. But if they do it on Monday, then things may have to move a little slower on the channel. Just wanted to let you guys know. But anyway, that's enough of that. Today we're going to be watching Frieza versus Megatron. This matchup in and of itself does not, like, irk me or anything. Like, it's a fine matchup in my opinion, but it has proven to be a bit of a pain for me just in terms of predicting how this fight will go, because I don't know exactly what Death Battle is going to use regarding these characters, specifically Megatron, because there are different versions of Megatron and they weren't the most clear on which version they were going to be using. I think I heard that they are going to be using IDW material, which is what I 100% expected, but who knows, maybe they'll use even more than that. I have no idea. But, you know, either way, I really don't know. I did technically go with Frieza in my prediction because I thought that that was just the safer option for reasons. But even if Megatron wins, I won't be too disappointed because, again, at that point, it kind of just came down to a 50-50 guess, because Megatron's power can change dramatically depending on what you do or do not include for him. I definitely think Megatron, no matter how you slice it, has the experience advantage. I think that he may have the hacks advantage and possibly the speed advantage as well, depending on how high he scales into the ridiculous processing speed feats that exist in Transformers. But I could also see them analyzing Frieza as just being way stronger to the point where Megatron's advantages don't matter that much. Or, you know, they could say Megatron is stronger. I could see that too. I really have no idea. So I'm really just going to use this video to try to put my thinking cap on, as opposed to the prediction where it really just came down to a 50-50 guess. So hopefully I can use what Death Battle says in this video and try to figure it out. But either way, without further ado, let's get started. I've been talking for a while.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by NordVPN and BetterHelp. Frieza, the Dread Emperor from Dragon Ball.
Hell yeah.
And Megatron, the Decepticon commander from Transformers.
The Dragon Ball episodes have been really good for the last few years, so fingers crossed.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Yep. Bit slow there, but all right, let's go.
Deep in the bowels of outer space lies a monster so cruel, so callous, so evil that the universe itself trembles at his approach. Behold, the mighty Lord Frieza.
Oh, he's adorable with the horns and that floppy tail and the...
Well, yeah, he's also super dangerous and a maniac. Right?
Whoa, awesome.
Yeah.
And he's laughing. Cool.
Frieza's diminutive stature and faux gentility were intentionally deceptive and
Okay.
rooted in a surprising place. In response to the Japanese economic bubble at the time, Frieza's design was meant to evoke real estate.
It's just weird to see Brian
Series
there.
Mangaka Akira Toriyama has
But that is
described such
weird.
speculators as the worst sort of people. Yes, really.
I mean, he might not be wrong.
Frieza is more than meets the eye. Oh, wait, shit, that's later.
Right,
Much
yeah.
is unknown about Frieza's alien
Nice.
race and heritage.
AKA
Only
freezer
that he and his
refrigerator.
father were born as mutants with
There's a
abnormally
Frieza
high
day?
power levels.
Oh, like how the doc said my blood alcohol level was 0.8 straight out the womb. Frieza was so
Okay,
crazy
that's
strong
that's
that
really
unlike
bad.
most Dragon Ball characters who transform to get stronger, Frieza transforms to get weaker. So he doesn't, like, accidentally nuke a planet. Only intentionally.
Right, yeah, I was like,
Empire
he does
and
that
army
though.
At his beck and call, Frieza would cross the universe, conquering worlds one by one, and selling them to the highest bidder, just like real estate speculators.
And if anyone
Okay, yeah.
did, he'd just kill them, their entire family, and everyone they ever knew. Just like real estate speculators.
Sure, fine.
Well, he usually lets his weird, multicolored alien grunts do his dirty work for him. Frieza's not afraid to throw down himself.
Oh, no.
Especially if some spiky-haired space monkeys start getting too uppity for their own good.
Frieza's strength comes from his innate understanding and manipulation of his own ki, or life energy, which he can use
Back to the
enhance
key-
his
the key
physicality
definitions.
or manifest into projectile attacks.
Like his classic death beam, death bowl, death wave, death cannon,
A lot of death.
saucers. Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here.
Frieza can move.
He is an
mountains
anime
with his
villain, so
mind,
I'll give it a
fire laser beams
pass.
From his eyes, create key force fields, and he even learned to sense the ki of others through sheer observation alone. He's fast enough
Okay.
to keep up with Goku's
And
ki
ki
attacks,
technically exists in
which
all living
scales the ki
things,
he
right?
absorbed for a spirit bomb against Kid Buu, could move across the universe in less than a minute. That would be over 17 quadrillion times the speed of light.
That is fast.
And he's gotten even stronger and faster since then.
Right.
You know you're a
Yeah,
badass
we've
when
seen
you
higher
stroll
counts
into
for
Planet
speed for
Vegeta
Dragon.
and
Wow.
said F you to the Dragon
Didn't know it
Balls.
went to that
This
extent.
is Black Frieza.
Yeah.
The all-seeing Oracle Fish had prophesied the coming of the universe's strongest. And perhaps he was talking about Frieza all along.
Come on.
Pretty
Give
cool.
us another prediction.
It's not an 8-ball.
I think you're gonna die. No, for some
Yeah,
godforsaken
you
reason, he didn't
asshole.
use his newfound power to kill those pesky Saiyans. They were right there, you moron.
In fact, he
Sorry, wait,
once
I feel like that
committed
might have
the
been important. Let me just go back.
Oh.
I gotta stop talking
Frieza,
over the
I
important
think you're
parts.
gonna die. No, for some godforsaken reason, he didn't use his newfound power to kill those pesky Saiyans.
Oh, okay,
They were
it's just
right
he didn't-
there, you
kill him.
moron.
In fact,
Thought maybe there was
he
some kind of
once committed
restriction.
the archvillain's greatest sin and teamed up with them to save their universe and beat Jiren.
Sometimes
a
you just
being
have to,
comparable the
right?
gods of destruction.
Because no one's allowed to destroy the universe but him.
Yeah,
And that's a promise he means
some
to
hubris
keep.
he's got.
This almighty emperor will continue to rule the universe with an iron grip and a heart of ice.
Nice. Nicely done. So they certainly focused a lot on capabilities
You either
there.
die a
Rapid
hero,
fire.
or you live
Let's see what they
long
do for
enough to see
Megatron.
yourself become the villain.
Or you live even longer and become an 80s toy commercial.
Yep.
This is Megatron.
G1
In
continuity
Cybertron's
presented by the
ancient
cartoon and the
past,
comics.
The planet was ruled by the
Okay,
functionist
so that's their
religious
main
order,
stuff.
which decreed
Good
that
to know.
Transformers' natural-born alternate mode determined their role and status in society, rather than letting them choose for themselves. Born into this
Right,
repressive
because,
caste
yeah,
system,
that's kind of their
Megatron
forms.
of Tarn dreamed of
It's like the
something
police
more.
car from
So
Cars.
this
Does he
giant
have to be a
Hasbro
cop?
toy robot, only $5.99 at your nearest Rite Aid, wrote a manifesto on peaceful dissent that got popular.
Sometimes I
with
can't
the
even really
oppressed
remember the
Cybertronian
fact that
working
he's
class.
also
So
like a-
much so, in
like a
fact, that
vehicle,
the Senate
you know?
tried to have him assassinated. Whoa, politics alert!
After surviving
Uh-huh.
that brush with death,
Space
Megatron
politics
was
are all the
convinced
rage.
that peace could never be an option. The only path left to overthrow the crippling social order was violent revolution.
So were the Autobots originally
Yeah, it's
the
a lot
bad
of
guys
villains
here?
these days.
Optimus Prime, more like Optimus Crime.
Yeah,
Never
I knew
saying
you were
Megatron
going there.
wasn't committed. The Civil War he
Boomstick
started
you.
between the two groups lasted 9 million fucking years.
Yeah,
And
that's some
remember,
ridiculous
toy
experience.
robots.
Not just
He was
age,
aided in his war
experience, you
efforts
know?
by his immensely powerful fusion cannon, a giant laser bazooka that can hit targets from 12 miles away and level a small town in a single shot. These projectiles are so fast, they're able to exit the atmosphere from ground level after only a single second. By scaling the
Okay.
distance of the Earth using the angle of this shot,
That would be
the fusion
fast.
cannon's projectile must be moving over 4,200 times the speed of sound.
But
Okay.
like me, the fusion
Nothing
cannon
compared to
needs a
what we've been
little
seeing
time
so
to
far for
recharge
Frieza, but I'm sure it's
between
gonna get better.
So Megatron's got some tools to keep the job going. He can close the distance with his Energon mace and block blows with his Energon shield. It helps that Megs literally fought as a gladiator before his stunt as a revolutionary.
Right,
Megatron
yeah, that would
can
help.
fire lasers from his eyes and arms.
So yeah,
launch
more combat
buzzsaws
experience
strong
than
enough to
Frieza
slice
for
through solid
sure.
rock, fly through the air, and open up a force field known as a panic bubble.
Now it might seem
Okay.
like a huge flaw that it lets enemy combatants inside. But that's only until you realize it won't let them back out again. That's when the
Gotcha.
panic part comes in. Megatron's not trapped in there with you. You're trapped in there
Right.
with him.
Megatron's
Well, I guess that depends on how
cybertronian
strong
body
your
is strong
opponent
enough
is,
to
whether or
match
not
the
that's a good
Autobot
thing, but
leader
yeah.
Optimus Prime, who can toss
Like, a
around
force
oil
field should
tankers
keep
weighing
things out.
hundreds of thousands of tons.
Usually.
And Megatron's metallic hide was tough enough to survive an explosion so massive it launched the entire planet of Cybertron through space.
By taking a look at
Right, I remember that
Cybertron's
from
mass and how
Optimus
fast it
vs.
was set
Gundam,
flying
that
to get its
episode.
overall kinetic energy, Megatron must have survived a blast equal to nearly 4.5 ninatons of TNT, enough to annihilate a small star.
Yeah, that is impressive.
Decepticons like
Better than Frieza blowing up
the
planet.
From Earth to Cybertron at hundreds of thousands of times the speed of light.
And he wouldn't be a transformer without being able to transform into various vehicles. A tank, a stealth bomber jet,
and a gun!
He just transformed into a gun.
In fact. I'm sorry, Will. I know he's this tragic revolutionary corrupted by the cycle of violence or whatever, but that is the funniest shit I have ever seen.
It is funny looking. Even if it's awesome, you have to admit it's still funny looking.
Sometimes he can fire himself too.
Oh my god. That looks even sillier.
You may be laughing, but Megatron is no joke.
No.
By utilizing space bridge teleportation technology, Megatron can establish a remote link up to a nearby black hole and teleport the antimatter it produces to his location.
Yeah.
Through his eyeballs.
Should matter and antimatter meet, they will be mutually annihilated.
Yeah.
In a brilliant release of energy.
That's what I was saying about the hacks.
It doesn't matter how durable the matter is, it will be destroyed at the subatomic level.
As Megatron's
that could be a problem for
control of
Frieza.
Cybertron dragged on, all of his highfalutin ideals started to fall to the wayside.
In essence, there used to be a point to the war. Now, war was the point.
Yeah.
His only goal left was to rule
That's how
Cybertron
all wars end
with
up
a
being, it
literal
seems.
Iron fist.
That's where Megatron's
Or at least all
greatest
fictional
weapon
wars.
came into play. His mind. The dude is a strategic and tactical genius who's always thinking 10 steps ahead.
He's fought powerful Transformers like Grimlock, Predaking, and the Decepticon, a being with
Yeah.
the power of an entire evil universe behind it.
He and Optimus have even fought Nova Prime and Regenesis Shockwave, both of whom could utilize the energy of that same universe.
Megatron once sealed
Now, how
himself
big is
inside
that
an
universe, I'm
Omniclone
wondering?
and commanded 1,000 real-life battles at once, funneling every iota of relevant information into his brain at the same
Oh, that's gonna be
time.
incredible
The sheer
speed.
deluge of data would be incomprehensible for anyone without that supercomputer brain.
But all that robot ass
Right.
ended up as a draw, and the only true loser was Cybertron.
With the planet in ruins and its civilization extinguished, the Cybertronian Golden Age was long over, and the vanguard of its destruction was Megatron.
Who's now a crusty Saturday morning cartoon villain with a voice that sounds like he smokes 40 packs a day and a hate motor for his boneheaded second in command, Starscream.
Antimatter was stated to be able to destroy half a planet.
Stalemate with his Boy
Wouldn't it be
Scout
able to do
rival,
more, though?
Megatron's brilliant mind finally turned inward. He remembered that his early writings advocated for peaceful conversion and free thought instead of domination.
It took you
See, this is
9
good that they
million
call
years
back to
remember
this stuff,
why
right?
You started fighting in the first
That's
place.
natural
Would the
character
memory get
development.
Lost in the cloud?
In what was possibly his most surprising tactical move yet, Megatron saved the universe from annihilation as an Autobot.
What?
Yeah.
He realized that after millions of years of indefinite war, the ideals that he fought for, freedom, justice, equality, had switched sides, and Megatron had to as well.
Turns out there
Well,
was
good
more
for
to
him.
this supervillain than met the
I
eye,
really like it when
because
Death Battle
true to his
focuses
nature,
on things like
Megatron
this
transformed.
that aren't part of the debate, but they're good. Okay, so I enjoyed those analyses well enough. But here's the theme part, Megatron.
It's time
That's great.
for a death
All right,
battle!
time for a death battle. And pause the video. Okay, so there are a few things here. I want to say that in my prediction video, when I was talking about, if they use like just Frieza, like Frieza, Black Frieza, all that stuff, and then they also use IDW Megatron, like they incorporate that stuff, then I thought that it would be debatable because I thought that Frieza would more likely be more powerful and durable, and Megatron would likely have greater speed or not, maybe not likely, but like possibly a greater speed depending on the, again, the data perception. They even brought that up in this episode, and probably have better hacks as well with the antimatter. And it looks like that's exactly what Death Battle is saying too, unless they're going to pull something out by the end of this that completely turns that around, right? I will say, though, that I do find it interesting that they have not been talking about numbers that much. They've been talking... Well, okay, that's a lie. They did talk about numbers, but not the higher-end numbers. Like, they were talking about, Frieza being able to blow up the planet, and then Megatron being able to survive the explosion that pushed Cybertron out of orbit. But then as you go higher, they didn't really talk about how many universes Frieza could blow up, right? You know, so I feel like that's gonna come into play in the conclusion. Like, they're gonna have to go that route. And the fact that they haven't said it yet makes me think that, you know, it might be a reason for him winning. You know, otherwise they might have said it earlier. Because I'm not really sure how big the universe is, like the Decepticon and all that stuff. Like, I'm not sure. I am aware of those feats, but I'm not sure how big that universe is, you know? So it's hard to say. But it seems like a lot of what his scaling can extend to is like a single universe, or something that's being backed up by a single universe. But I have no idea what like a dark or dead universe, I don't know how it compares to a regular universe. Does it technically provide more power? You know, I'm not 100% sure. However, we know that, you know, from Thor versus Vegeta, that they have speculated how powerful something like Ultra Ego is. Depending on whether or not you say that Universe 7 is like 9 times the size of our own universe, or like 13.29 times the size, I think that's the other number that they've thrown around. But then you'd be looking at a range between like 180,000 universes and like 265,000 universes, which is the amount that they applied to Ultra Ego Vegeta. Again, this is just talking about Death Battle's numbers, because of course this is Death Battle, we're trying to predict what they're going to say, whether or not you agree with it, you know. So in terms of that, I do want to say that unless they say, oh, well, this universe that was backing Decepticon is actually like way bigger, then I feel like Frieza would have to just be way more powerful. And the fact that he fought Broly as well, like, I don't think it was Broly at his strongest state, because of course characters like Broly and Gogeta and Vegito could get significantly higher, although he did also, you know, help to fight Jiren as well, and became quote-unquote the strongest in the universe or whatever. You know, we'll see maybe how valid that is, but I do still think that, you know, the antimatter cannon that Megatron has could do real damage, and if he does end up having better speed, then, you know, the power that Frieza has might not even mean that much, you know, because, you know, if he has that ridiculous speed, but then again, like, if he has like that force field that traps him in with Frieza, well, again, I guess it would still mean, like, if he had better speed and better hacks, you know, if he could just avoid all of Frieza's attacks for that long and then shoot him with the antimatter. Although, would it destroy all of him at once? Because we know that Frieza can keep fighting without all of him. He just can't heal, you know? So that's interesting to think about as well. Because the force field, again, like, it doesn't really benefit Megatron if Megatron is not stronger than his opponent. But even if he's not technically more powerful than Frieza, that doesn't mean he doesn't have a way to kill him. And again, I don't know how the speed compares. The thing is, I am more confident in Frieza having the power advantage based on what they said than Megatron having the speed advantage based on what they said. I don't know how they're going to do it, though. They might come back and say, oh, Megatron is faster, and therefore he'd be able to win with his hacks. Or, even more so, Megatron is faster, and technically by these standards, he would also be stronger, you know? So, speed and durability on one side versus hacks and speed on the other side is always tough. But then you also have Megatron's experience and his battle tactics, which I feel like are better than Frieza's. Frieza was only training for, what, 4 months, and then he got the Golden Frieza form, but it's not like he has, like, such tactical greatness or anything. So, as much as I want to say that Frieza is more powerful and more durable based on all that stuff that they said, then, like, as much as I want to say that, it seems like Megatron still has, like, a way to win. If he can just outsmart Frieza and avoid him, if he does indeed have better speed, and then shoot him with the antimatter, then he might just win, you know? It's really hard to say. Again, though, the fact that they're not talking about the universe, like the multipliers yet, that makes me think that means it has to be, like, a reason for Frieza winning. So it's hard to say. I'm really trying to go in the meta with all of this. I don't know. I was really hoping that this would help me out more, and I think technically it did help me out in the sense of knowing where the advantages lie, but it's still tough. I can see reasoning for either of these characters winning. Again, I'm not really rooting for either of these characters specifically. I don't love them. I don't hate them. I think they're both cool. But yeah, I'd say let's just watch the death battle then, because I'm really not sure. And I'm really hoping that this turns out to be an awesome fight. So without further ado, let's go. There's a part of me that's thinking that Megatron might pull this off, but Frieza just seems so much more powerful. I don't know which way they're gonna lie. they're gonna lean. It was a really slow build. That's pretty cool. Nice 3D.
Whatever. I, Lord Frieza, claim this world as
It looks
my
like they got the
own.
voice for
Cheer
Frieza.
for
That's good. The good
your
voice.
annihilation.
I have fought for my planet for eons. I would rather see it turn to ash than reside in your filthy hands. Organic
Nice integrity
scum.
for a villain. Turned hero.
I love it when they monologue back.
And that already looks really cool. Okay, let's go. Okay, are you just gonna take that? Yeah, you are. Okay.
Pity.
Now final form.
A new mothership from your corpse.
It is mechanical. Okay. Okay, that looks cool. I'm liking this already.
Is that clunky robot body too slow to keep up?
My witch did more than
Oh, is that the force field?
delivering punts.
I think so. Oh, but he got out. Okay. Either way, looked cool. Okay. Some stuff's moving so fast, it's hard to keep up. It's nice. Going in a circle. Frieza, yeah, you might want to get out of there. Oh, no. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to rewatch this so many times so I can really get what's happening here. And, oh no! That's not good for Megatron. That cannot be it.
Where did you
There is no way that's it.
Huh?
Okay, good. We got the vehicles in there. Is that the antimatter? I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to tell when it shows up. Depends on if it destroys part of his body, I think. Oh, Golden Frieza, nice. They're really showing all sides of the transformation. That looks pretty cool too. I like that model. They're really doing a slow build for a lot of moments in this one. Nice track. Okay. Yeah, the battle's going really slow, but then really fast at times too. It's interesting. Gotta get the sound effects in there. Oh, maybe that's the antimatter. I'm just gonna say that every time. Oh! Megatron, look out! Oh god. What happened?
Well, doesn't this just always happen? I give it 3. No,
Oh, that's the
5
Black Frieza
minutes.
form? Oh, right, it comes from the eyes. That's right. I completely forgot. There's the antimatter. Okay, sorry, I look like a complete idiot.
Ruler of a dying planet. My planet.
If this is where he pulls it off, it's gonna be this, if he pulls it off.
Your ship so powerful, and yet you will wander the depths of space for eternity. All because of me. What a fool.
You despicable cretinous worm! I'll
Or is that the Black
torture you
Frieza form?
until your screams
I'm just
can be
getting
heard in
everything
the
wrong.
vacuum of space.
Die a fool's death.
Okay. This could be bad for Frieza. Oh boy. The track looks like it's ended, so... Oh no! Oh my god!
You will die.
That completely caught me off guard. Okay. Oh my god, that look okay, that looks cool.
Civilians must kill them all.
Oh my, so Frieza pulled it off. Wow.
Again, Frieza, it was actually 1 minute and 10 seconds. Idiot.
Megatron's ruthless resilience.
I don't know why I was
may
thinking
have been
Megatron
won in
so
some
much, but
scenarios,
let's hear
Frieza's
this.
overwhelming power gave him a clear edge.
Yeah.
Megatron's ace in the hole was his antimatter, which would
Absolutely.
have annihilated Frieza's ass no matter how tough it was.
And that was
Yeah.
a real possibility. Megatron is a master tactician and manipulator
Yes.
with millions of years of combat experience. Frieza, on the other hand, has always relied on his raw power and intimidation to win fights.
When things
But that
don't
power
go
was
his
just
way,
so
he
much,
has a
right?
tendency to freak out.
However, Frieza has survived getting most of his body obliterated and kept going.
Which meant the antimatter wasn't a surefire win. It would have
Well, it needs to get all of
completely
him.
cover Frieza's whole body before
Yeah.
he could react. And Frieza was way too fast for that.
While Megatron scaled
Okay,
the characters
so he
we could
was
cross
faster.
galaxies, Frieza has kept up with Goku, who should be at least trillions of times faster.
And on his smaller size and key force fields, Frieza had more than enough ways to avoid, defend, or survive the antimatter.
So Megatron's only option was power. While Megatron has survived planet-busting explosions and even fought with a being that had the energy of a universe behind
Yeah,
it,
this is where I kind
Frieza
of thought they
was
were
just
going.
too much for him, considering he certainly surpassed Goku in Beerus' Punch Clash. Since Universe 7 as a whole should be over 13 times larger than
13,
our
yeah,
own
that's the
universe,
higher estimate,
Frieza's
yeah.
super forms would far exceed Megatron's own power.
And that feat happened at the beginning of Dragon Ball Super. Goku
Yep.
has gotten leagues stronger since then, and Black Frieza is currently beyond him. There was just no way Megatron was strong enough to keep up.
Megatron was a devious foe, but Frieza's power.
I am
speed,
still a
and
little
sheer
curious about the
survivability
processing
allowed him to
speed
crush
feat.
the Decepticon leader under
Like how that
I
compares?
guess you could say Megatron
But,
was
I don't know.
cool, but Frieza was cooler.
Cooler.
is Frieza.
All right, good job, Frieza. Okay, so we'll talk about this in a
Thanks for
second.
watching, and hey,
Next
are you
time
a Death
should be the
Battle member?
Halloween
We've got a
episode,
battle
right?
going on right
Probably.
now where members
I've been
get
saying
to
for a
choose
while
a
it could be
matchup for the
Mysterio
next
versus
season.
Scarecrow,
So click that
but
join button
I
and
don't
jump into
know.
our Champions Discord.
So let's see. What do we got? So that's not Mysterio versus Scarecrow. Oh, Gojo and Makima. Okay. I was not expecting that. Yeah, that's a fight that's been talked about for quite a while. I know not everybody loves it. And I knew that they were going to bring in Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man at some point. Like that just made the most amount of sense to me. That because they're like the two new really big anime, right? Manga anime series. So, or at least the ones that have gotten popular lately, I guess I should say. So I don't know, does this count as like the Halloween episode? I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not really sure, like I don't know the full extent of their shticks. Like, does that really make sense as the Halloween episode? Are they not doing one this year? Maybe they do one after this one, except then that would push it into November. So, okay, I was not expecting that. Interesting. I mean, I was expecting like Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man to show up at some point, but considering like the main fights I hear are like this one and Denji versus Itadori, I was kind of expecting them to just happen maybe next season. If one was going to happen sooner, I would have expected it to be this one because they just did the other fight as a Death Battle cast like a couple months ago or something. Okay, so that'll be interesting. We'll have to talk about that a little later. But so I was completely wrong about Mysterio versus Scarecrow. Maybe it'll happen afterwards if really they are doing like a Halloween episode afterwards, like after Halloween happens, but that still seems a little weird to me. But okay, Gojo versus Makima, we'll talk about that one. But anyway, talking about this episode, so again, as I was saying, I was a little confused about like the whole processing speed thing. Maybe they explained it while I was talking over them, or maybe they talked about it in one of the black boxes or something. But that was one of the things that was making me think, oh, you know, Megatron could end up being faster because, you know, especially like in Alex Mercer versus Cole McGrath, they talked about a processing speed feat as if like it could translate to, you know, physical movement and all that, which I have no problem rolling with. It's just I would have expected them to kind of clarify how fast the processing speed feat was. You know, in truth, maybe it wasn't as fast as Frieza, and I can buy that. I kind of wish they explained it more, assuming that I didn't talk over it or anything. But other than that, the conclusion does make enough sense to me. I was completely misreading a lot of what the battle was. Like I was saying, is that the antimatter? Is that the antimatter? But no, I completely forgot that it just comes from his eyes. And I really thought that it was over. Like I thought Frieza was just dead, but then I saw part of his body left, and I'm like, okay, well they're not gonna have him pull out the antimatter again and win with that. So Frieza's just got this at this point. But that was a successful fake out for me, at least. That was pretty cool. And again, yeah, the reasoning makes enough sense to me. Like he has much more combat experience. He's more of a tactical genius. And the antimatter could definitely kill Frieza. But yeah, if we really are looking at just the straight strength, speed, and durability, then yeah, if we're limiting Megatron to just the idea IDW comics, I did not see him reaching Frieza's levels. And that's something I did say in my prediction video as well. Again, if Megatron won, I would not have been too upset because I didn't know what to say for my prediction. But that being said, I'm still happy that I got my prediction correct and that Frieza won. But yeah, so I did enjoy the episode. I did enjoy the fight. I will say that, again, there were times where it seems like the animation was really, really quick. And then there were times where it was just going really slow, which some people might appreciate, and I did appreciate it to an extent as well. I just think maybe that they overdid it a little bit. Like there were times where it just felt like, okay, I understand what's happening. I know he's turning into the Golden Frieza form. And, maybe that's a reference to Dragon Ball itself. Like, I have no idea. Maybe there was some other reasoning behind it. But there was a time where I just felt like, okay, like, I understand what's happening. Maybe we can move things along a little bit. But I still thought, the 3D models looked good. I thought, the backgrounds looked good. I thought all of that looked really good. I really liked a lot of the stuff they pulled out for both of the characters. A lot of different energy attacks. I liked how they actually had Megatron transforming into a vehicle at one point. That was a really good touch. Some people would argue that's a necessity, and yeah, I'm inclined to agree. So good thing they did that as well. The analyses I thought were pretty decent as well. They did go over a lot of good stuff, and it did allow me to put together some things. Again, speed is a little hard to say, but that's more of a conclusion thing. But I did still enjoy the analyses. I really enjoyed how they were talking about Megatron and, what happened to him later on in his own series and all that. So yeah, really happy about all of that. And yeah, I don't really have too much more to say about it. I will say that I'm not sure if I would say this is one of my favorite Dragon Ball episodes compared to some of the other Dragon Ball episodes we've gotten for the past few years. Maybe some of you will disagree. Maybe a lot of people actually really, really love this one more than all the other ones. And if you do, that's totally understandable. I did really enjoy the banter and the voice acting. That's definitely a big plus for this episode. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch the other ones, I think, because I'm not sure if I would put this quite on the same level as some of them. But I still enjoyed this episode well enough. It was still very true to being a Dragon Ball episode. And yeah, I really enjoyed what they talked about for Transformers, because I think they went over a lot of stuff that they really couldn't go over in Optimus vs. Gundam, and certainly not Starscream versus Rainbow Dash. So I really enjoyed a lot of it. So, yeah, I don't know how this would compare exactly to all the other episodes of Season 10 just yet, but I still want to say that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it well enough. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think should have won? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. Comment your comments down below. Subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.